And we are, hang on. Okay, we are good. We're live. All right. And I'll let you say it, Corey. And
what's the line again?
today we learn we have another two-parter.
There we go.
Yep. All right.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Quality Time. Oh, I'm sorry. Another open.
Here we go.
Again, Brian. 3, 2, 1. Today we learn that, oh, brother, we have another two-parter.
And in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Not with us today. Not with us today, Mr. Paul Packler. This feels so empty.
I know.
He's having some tech issues with his computer.
That's sort of sad because he lives, in New York. We live in a second-class city in New York.
Very much so. How does he show his face in public?
I don't understand. And not only in New York does he live, he lives in Manhattan.
Yes.
The very tip of Manhattan, but he lives in Manhattan.
That's true. How can he face the New Yorkers?
I don't understand. Having slow internet. There are people in the sticks of this country who have faster internet than Paul Packler, who lives in Upper Manhattan.
I want to say, now I don't know if this is 100% true, and I'll let Paul verify it next time we talk to him. But at one point, Paul... Henry's got the internet. See, we have the internet, Paul.
Oh, Justin. I'm looking at Paul's.
Oh, is Paul tweeting? Okay, good. So maybe he can verify this. So I remember at one point, Paul was looking to get a new computer, and it seemed like he had one of those really old Macs with like the colored backs, like that old.
That's a really old Mac.
I'm not 100% sure if it was that, but it was an old Mac, and he posted like how much megabytes and stuff he had. Like my phone had more power than his entire computer.
Oh, these technological kids.
Paul is the opposite of a millennial.
He is. Well, in that regard, anyway.
Yes, in that regard, definitely.
Facial hair regard, he's very much a millennial.
True. Very true. Very, very true. Absolutely. Well, how are you, Corey?
I'm fine. This episode made me sad.
How so? Just the topic, or
on a couple of levels. The topic, and I'll tell you why on the topic later on. But it made me sad that the show is so bad. Every single time they decide to focus on anything that's serious, they have a leaden foot and a leaden hand. It's like an elephant.
Oh, man, there's some serious close-ups in this episode. And also, it made me sad because there was just we talk about the poor writing on this, but this was not even any effort into jokes at all. No, and we'll start, and let's just jump into it, because the first thing that happens is a great example of what I'm talking about. If you're playing along, we are in season 5, episode 13, Oh Brother. And like we said, oh, brother, it's a two-parter. We're going to have several of them.
And that's what and ultimately, I was the saddest at the end when I realized, oh, that's right. We're coming back to this next week.
Oh,
and it got worse with more reason.
Paul, Corey, I have an idea. I want to see what you think about this since Paul's not here. Why don't we make Paul watch part 2 and tell it to us so we don't have to?
Because it almost started like it was not going to be so bad, and then it got real bad real fast, and then it really turned awful.
Yeah, I was worried from the get-go. So I want to paint this opening shot. It's Andy and Alex sitting at the table, and Alex is showing Andy how to peel the labels off cans, cans of food, in just one go, so it comes out in one nice long strip.
Now, let's unpack this for just one moment.
Please.
First off, why?
Yes.
And let everybody know who's not seen this episode. There's never an explanation of why. Now, if they are geniuses and they come back and there's an explanation of why in part 2, which I don't think is going to be, I'll give them all the credit in the world for continuing on.
Corey, but they're going to drop that.
It is this ultimately was the B plot of the show.
Yes. And you see this opening scene and you're thinking there's going to be some like reference or joke, like Alex is playing a little trick on Elise, or he's doing something fun with Andy, some project for school where they're going to make labels for the cans. No, it's just to show him how to take labels off of cans, which no one ever does in the history of mankind.
And I kept on thinking, is there an economic lesson that Alex is going to teach Andrew about this? No.
I thought so too. No, there is no lesson.
I thought, is this going to come into a school thing involving Alex? No mention of school in the whole episode. Nope. So why does this exist? Beats me. No idea.
Is this something Gary David Goldberg in his childhood? Yeah, we used to take the labels off cans.
You know what? That did occur to me. It occurred to me that this was something you know how, like, I'm sure Henry does something idiosyncratic that you figure not a lot of kids do this, but Henry does this. And Logan and Griffin both had things that were very strange little things they say, and you might want to put it on a television show, but I'll advise every writer out there, think twice about that. It's everything is not so cute for somebody else.
Yes, it's not, and nor is it a good generic reference for everyone. Oh yes, we all did that.
Oh, I'm nodding my head in agreement. Of course. Remember when we took the labels off of cans?
Oh my God. It was, and they're like, we're not just going to have this as the opening shot. Like you said, Corey, it's the B plot.
I'm counting right now how many times it comes up. 1, 2,
oh God.
3,
it's
4. I have it's in 4 different scenes. It's a B plot on the show.
It is.
And it never really changes. And it actually reaches its peak in the middle of the show with the side gag, not something physical. You think, oh, Alex is going to pay it off with something physical, like he's going to wear it all or something. No, he just stands there with a big messy bowl.
Yeah. The crux of the humor in this episode relies on peeling labels off cans. That is where we've steeped to.
And I want to add in one other thing, that this is the most involved plot for Andrew since he joined the show.
Very much so. Very much so.
It's like, are we ever going to not see him in this show? It's like they've given him a plot now. Oh my God, I hate this kid. They just give him a plot.
Oh, absolutely. They're milking it.
Paul just said, it sounds like from a joke book. It's like loosening the top of a salt shaker.
I just think it's like a mannerism that they found fascinating and wanted to just do throughout the whole entire show. Like, it's like, this is great. They're peeling labels off.
I wrote it down immediately in the first scene. It didn't make sense from the very start.
I was like,
I thought, was there a premise here? No, there's no premise.
There's no premise. No.
It was just something. Maybe it was something they found that Brian Bonsall could do. You know how I'm always treating Brian Bonsall like he's special.
Right.
Maybe it was like, we know he has no talent. We know he can't say lines. We know he can't do shtick. What can he do? Hey,
peel the label off this can, Brian.
I saw him at lunch the other day with the prop guy. He was peeling the labels off of tin cans.
That's another way this could have come about. It's either that or part of David David Goldberg's childhood. It's one or the other.
I just don't understand it. It was just so stupid. And every scene thereafter that included it never got better. It was like, really? I was amused by it, though, I have to say. I wasn't angered by it. I was amused. Even with the Andrew being on camera a lot, I was still like, really? This is really, sometimes I get pissed off, like I will with the serious plot. But with this plot, it was, oh, this is so stupid. I can't believe it.
I know, that's what's like, this is completely moronic. I just can't. It's like watching a car crash. It's like, they're really going for it with this can labeling thing.
Now, when you get into the A plot of the show, we find out that Uncle Rob is coming. Mm-hmm. Now, refresh my memory, because I have been on a heart-lung machine and my brain doesn't retain things.
Yes.
We've met Uncle Rob before, haven't we?
We have in one of our classic episodes where our first two-parter, I believe, in season 1 or 2, where Steven goes home and it was like community theater with the Art Town with the flashbacks and stuff. And we find out that, about Steven's dad and what an asshole he was, and he has that monologue at the grave. But yeah, we meet.
Wait, what do we call the monologue again? I want to do it. Something. Oh,
I forget. Oh God, it's been. I've tried to erase it out of my mind.
Scott, you recited the monologue for us.
No, I recited Sunday's Father, Sunday's Fool.
Oh, that's what I'm remembering. Sunday's
Father. Yours is the Steven
Gravestone.
Yeah. That's yours.
Oh God, I have to look that up again. But that's the episode that we met Uncle Rob in.
Yeah, and we find out Alex loves him. He's very conservative, very serious business guy. Kind of did what his parents wanted him to do, held down the family fort, and that caused resentment between him and Steven. But in this episode, we see a very different Uncle Rob.
We do. And then we also, right after we hear that Uncle Rob is coming, we find the C plot.
And we gotta unpack this too.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. Yes, Paul's wondering, was it the same actor who played Uncle Rob both times? And yes, it was.
Yes, I was asking myself that too, and it was.
The actor's name is Norman Parker. He's very familiar to me.
He did a good job. Like he was good. Yeah,
he was. The C plot is just as ridiculous as the B plot.
It's so. Oh.
Another one where I was praying for it to go somewhere, and it went even less places than taking labels off of tin cans.
Well, where can you go with this?
This was some way of, and I'm going to say it the way it happened. It was some way of getting Mallory and Jennifer to walk through a scene and exit.
Yes. Yes. That's it. But we could have done something so much more simpler. Like, they have them coming in. They are going to the blood bank or the health clinic. Healthmobile.
Because there's a cute paramedic there that Mallory wants to fix Jennifer up with, who's never dressed in a more matronly way in this episode. She's dressed as Bubby Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
The whole episode. The worst sweater I've ever seen in my life. She's worn another sweater that we hated.
Yeah, she just is a reminder of how bad 80s fashion is.
But this sweater had a math equation on it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like 1-4. I was trying to, they never had it in full shot. I was trying to get the big knitted letters at it.
It was knitted. It was a knitted pink and black sweater with a math equation across it. And she only passed fast enough to exit with Mallory and say they were going to get. So first they're going to get their blood pressure checked,
right?
And then they're going to get their pancreas biopsied, and then they're going to get their testicles dealt for cancer. That's my tribute to Paul.
Yes.
And their heart. That's my tribute to me.
That was good. And I have nothing right now.
No, thank God. Good.
Knock on wood, yeah. But Corey, remind me, isn't Jennifer still in middle school? She is, right? And
ninth or 10th grade,
Right.
and
And a paramedic
picks her up with a doctor.
right. Or well, even a basic like health-mobile paramedic is well into their 20s, maybe in med school.
And by the way, does a parent even look at them with a cross eye? No.
Well, Corey, we've established time again that no one gives a shit about Jennifer.
Well, she is, after all, raising Andrew by herself, though.
Jan Brady got more attention than Jennifer Keaton.
It is. It's one thing. She's one, and Jan Brady was one of 6. Jennifer's only one of 4. She really should.
Yeah.
She needs to suck it up a little bit more. It's just ridiculous. So now all of a sudden, was it Steven announces that he either needs to go out or does he have the strudel?
Brings home a strudel, and I got to give the writers credit. They referenced the old couple from that 2-parter we talked about that had strudel.
Yeah.
Even treated like shit at one point. It didn't go to their bakery or whatever at one time. Yeah.
Okay. So they referenced strudel in that first 2-parter back in season 1 or 2, right?
They referenced strudel and the couple that he mentioned. It's like, oh, it's just like from back home that the Wunderhausens or whatever their name is. Yeah.
So my question is even more important now.
Okay.
How is it that Elise knows nothing about the strudel? She's been married to Steven for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's been with Rob and Maureen.
Mm-hmm.
She was in that episode.
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, he's already brought home the strudel. Don't you think he would have said, hey, hon, I'm going to go get some strudel just like the Wunderhausens made, so I'm going to bring it back.
Welcome home, Steven. I'm not going to ask you what that's in that big pink box of yours.
Exactly. And as if like right on cue, as the girls are leaving and the strudel's being set, Uncle Rob comes in from being 2 hours late. Like they were like, oh, he's 2 hours late. That's crazy because he's so prompt and on time and organized.
Now, at the very end of this scene, I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
That I can't believe the writers. Another one of the sloppiest things. So Mallory and Jennifer have left to go to the ball, to the healthmobile.
Right.
And standing in the kitchen are Elise, Steven, Rob, and Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math. There's another child somewhere in the house who's very small and completely
unattended. Yeah, they don't have him in that shot. They don't keep him in the room.
He left. Remember at the beginning of the scene, he left.
Yeah.
He said his lines, did his shtick with Alex, and got up and did his one dog trick that they've taught him, which is to reverse from the chair and go out the swinging door.
Right. You're right. And he's 4, right?
I don't think he's 4. I think 3.
Barely, yeah. We'll give the benefit of the doubt he's 4, but you still keep an eye on a 4-year-old.
You're not a room apart with all those adults in the house? Somebody keep an eye on the kid?
Jennifer just escaped. I know. Like, I need a life.
That's it. I'm going to the healthmobile wearing a funky sweater. Bye. Peace out.
Yeah.
So we go to the second scene. Oh, but you have to. Paul, the man who is not a parent, just tweeted, "Do you have to watch kids?"
He's going to make an excellent father, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I tell him he really should get a hamster first. One of those alive.
Maybe a plant. Let's go plant first, maybe. He's gonna be
yogurt in the refrigerator. Okay.
His kid will be 3 months old. I'm reading you Nietzsche.
You think Brian Bonsall is bad? When little Packler opens his mouth, oligarchy. Oligarchy.
Fuck the oligarchy. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Any second now. Anyway, we go into the second scene, and of course, the second scene opens once again with Alex and Andrew and taking more.
What's wrong with these damn cans?
Yep. And now they decide, we have to make a choice. What are we going to do with these cans? Are we going to lie to Mom?
Right, because we should preface. Elise is pissed about this. Like, she's like, we're not going to know what to open, and she apparently needs peaches.
You need to have a moment. Apparently, Paul did have a hamster when he was a son. It passed away, and we'd like to spend a moment just honoring the memory of Arthur II, which scares me because he named his. Did he actually have an Arthur I before it, or did he name his hamster after the horrible movie Arthur?
Yeah, it's always creepy naming your pet sequels too.
Oh, that's so funny if it was named after the movie Arthur.
I really hope it's named after the movie Arthur II.
That they didn't have like a goldfish named Arthur earlier.
Yeah.
After the movie. Yes, indeed. After the movie. We just did confirmation. Thank goodness.
That's awesome.
He had this. Well, he probably did he name it after Arthur II, like right after Arthur II came out?
I'm guessing so. That probably would seem right. Did the hamster die of alcohol poisoning?
Like Arthur. Like Arthur.
Yeah.
So they're playing with cans, and then Stephen and Uncle Rob both come in, and of course they were competing with each other like these Keatons
do. And they sound like they're 13. Like, they don't sound like grown men talking about a game. They're whining like little 13-year-old kids.
Absolutely. Every single time they play any kind of they interact athletically or intellectually, it becomes a battle for these kids.
Yeah. Oh, so much.
The girls go to the mall again in the middle of this scene. Yep, they're going again.
For glaucoma. Yep.
The paramedic or the paramedic. And thankfully,
I like to point out something. Wait. I got to point out something. The way Mallory phrases it is, we've been asked back to get checked for glaucoma. Meaning they found some results at the Healthmobile that aren't too good.
Yep. Yeah, they just want to do double check. By the way, teenage girls having glaucoma, that's likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, right after they leave, what else do the Keatons do but break out the orange juice?
Yep, fresh. Right after a good game of basketball, you want a nice citrusy, acidic glass of orange juice.
I'd be burping that up for a day. Oh, my Lord. And this is when, over a glass of orange juice, is when Rob decides to drop the big bombshell on his brother that he and his wife, Maureen, are going to split up. And you would think that he told Stephen that I gutted her and put body parts in the freezer, and I've been eating them one by one.
Yes. Oh, and that's the tone for the rest of this episode. Is just the freaking world is ending because of this divorce.
Now, I want to point something out. This is where I got to talk about my own personal experience. This episode aired in 1986. Griffin was born in 1987, and my wife and I separated in about 1989, 90, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So not so far from when this episode aired. I think that the views on divorce and separation have eased over the last 30 or so years, almost 30 years.
Yes.
I think it's a lot less shocking because the reaction when I separated from my ex-wife was very emotional and verbal. People mouthed off to me.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that because this seems to be like a huge deal. And I remember divorce rates rising in the 80s or hearing about that.
Yes. And it was not received with warmth and support by a lot of, certainly on my side, I don't know how it was for my ex-wife, but on my side, I lost a lot of friends who were upset with me.
Wow.
So that's all I could. And when I saw this, I thought to myself, okay, it's a little big. However, the only positive reaction was from family. My family was very understanding.
Right.
In fact, my mother, who I've said before is the most horrible human being on the face of the planet, was actually it was one of the very few accepting moments of her life with me.
Wow.
Where when I was crying when I told my mom that I was going to leave my wife and we were going to separate, and she responded by actually saying, and I was anticipating, I went into therapy. I needed therapy before telling my mother this, and
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a horrible reaction because no one was ever divorced in my family. And when I told my mother, her reaction was, you know what? The most important thing is that you're happy. I could tell for a long time that the two of you weren't very happy together. So I'm glad if this is going to make you both happy, then it's a very good thing.
Wow, Corey, from everything I've heard about your mother, just from you, I would never in a million years expect that at all.
I can tell probably 5 nice stories about my mother, that being one of them. 93, ladies and gentlemen, 93 years old. I can say 5 nice things about my mother.
93. Oh, God. Wow, that is so. You kind of changed my opinion of this episode a little bit, because I was like, this doesn't, because I didn't grow up around that. Like, it was just like, this just doesn't seem to be this huge a deal. And I even was thinking it wasn't the case in the 80s, but hearing you.
Paul tweeted, it's like they invented divorce in Kramer versus Kramer. It does seem as though the reaction is like divorce had just started happening.
Yeah. Paul's absolutely right. It is because and the way
on my mother and figured that she's done one nice thing for every decade of my life.
It's like, has it been 10 years?
About one nice thing a decade.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But really, the whole thing about the episode, and that's the thing, is I sort of was understanding up to a certain point, but
right.
Point stopped when it was brother of all people who wasn't getting it.
Yeah, and you kind of see the selfishness of the Keatons a little bit. It's about how they feel about the divorce.
That's right.
I'm disappointed. I think you should be back together. I think you should go to therapy. I think and it's like, Rob actually seems to be very confident in his decision. It's hard, but he feels like he's made the right decision, and he's moving on. He meets a girl on the plane.
You know, he obviously, to me, what I got from him meeting a girl on the plane and starting to date her in Dayton was that I got that he hadn't been happy for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Recent separation, and now trip to announce his separation to probably the first family members that he's told that he and Maureen are separating. He finds this to be a very liberating experience for him.
Yeah.
And he felt that he would go and get love from his brother and support. And instead, the Keatons sort of kind of slap him in the face.
Yeah, it's a horrible place for him to be, except for the date that he's having. And they treat her like shit, too. Like,
Absolutely.
She seems like a nice girl. Like, all he's wanting is to maybe have a little bit of fun, to let his hair down a little bit, which he seems to never have done. Like, he's always kind of done what people expected him to do. Yeah.
As we head into the next scene, it's Alex finding out about Uncle Rob getting divorced, and he's upset, saying Republicans never divorce. Well, of course, Reagan famously first.
It was a good joke.
Previously.
It was a good joke. And this is why I so wish we had Paul here, because he'd be going all off on this Republican guy, because they really hammer it. He's a Republican. He's a Republican.
It's almost as if to Alex, Republican equals good. I wonder how he would look at mainstream Republicans versus Freedom Party Republicans now that we have two different types of Republicans. Hey, I can stomach some Republicans, can't stomach some Republicans.
Right, exactly. This morality and purity that you can kind of see the inklings of it, starting with Reagan and everything. Like, oh, divorce, bad. Only bad people or corrupt people get divorced. They can't keep a relationship together. Yeah.
Paul just confirmed indeed that Reagan was indeed the first divorced president that we've ever had. Obviously not the last, because he was only divorced once. Ding, 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 ding. We've got a champion now.
Three. But yes, it's the party of family values. Yeah.
Mallory does have my favorite line in the episode, though, in this scene, where she says that the 80s was the decade of separation, sushi, and designer jeans.
And her delivery stands out on that. I was like, Justine Bateman is rocking with giving her so very little. She is she's making the most out of every moment she has. And I think
there was another moment, I don't know if I wrote it down, but there were two moments in the show where she absolutely killed it. She had 2 lines, and they were the most memorable lines. And I thought, good for you. You killed it on 2 lines.
Yeah, it's like she's like, you know what? You really haven't given Mallory a voice. I'm going to give her a voice. And she just has this like kind of
sort of sarcastic, like an over-the-shoulder sarcasm, shooting fingers out. Really good.
Exactly.
And then we end the act with a big argument over whether his name is Bob or Rob for some reason.
Yeah, and it's a stupid joke.
And it goes on forever during the act.
Oh yeah. Well, should we take a commercial break?
Let's take a commercial. We're at the midpoint here.
Yep. We'll be right back. And we're back. And we're going to see some awesome outfits, ladies and gentlemen, in the second half.
We sure are.
Oh. Because Uncle Rob Bob is going out on a date. And the family is shocked by this.
They are astounded by it.
Exactly. They're totally astounded by it. They don't even really establish like why it's so important to the Keatons that Rob and his wife stay together. Like, I don't know where they're coming from. Is it image? Is it just like they don't want Rob to fail at something? I don't get it.
They had a good reason. We love Maureen so much. We can't imagine our lives without Maureen.
Right. And the kids, yes.
And what's your relationship? Question, by the way, every brother would ask, where are you living?
Yeah, they never ask that. Never ask that.
We're separated. Where are you living? What's the arrangement with the kids?
Right. And just, how are you? There's never even like, how are you getting by? How are you doing? Like,
it's like there's no cookie cutter way of getting divorced. So wouldn't you ask the really important family questions? My niece and nephew, I love them so much. What's happening to them? How often are you going to spend time with them? What kind of legal arrangement do you have? How are you and Maureen dividing the house? How are you guys going to manage financially?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's real life questions that a brother or sister would ask. Instead, what we get for the next 12 or 13 minutes, even whining and moaning about Rob leaving Maureen.
Yeah.
Even though Rob starts to slowly peel back the layers and explain why he's leaving Maureen. And it all is valid. He doesn't say one stupid thing.
No, absolutely not. And
he goes back years. He goes back years of unhappiness. So it's not even a recent thing. I didn't wake up and have a midlife crisis and go out and buy a Corvette and try to leave my wife. No, I've been unhappy. We've been unhappy for a very long time. And the thing of it is that, people now know, and we say, you don't know what goes on in anybody's home. Whenever anybody says to me, oh, what a happy couple, you never know what goes on in anybody's home.
Absolutely. And they live so far apart. He doesn't know the daily life that they face. Like, so for him to be so presumptuous of like, this can work and everything, you're not there, Stephen.
Paul's asking, I'll tell you now, even though Paul's asking what were his reasons for wanting to leave Maureen, and he goes into this scene where he talks about how he wasn't happy with his career. He felt he was pushed into his career by his parents. That Stephen was given more artistic choices than he was in his career, and he was jealous of the artistic choices that Stephen had to go and follow his dreams, whereas he was never really permitted to follow his own dream.
Right.
He met Maureen, and they got married and they had children, and you don't know what happens in somebody's home, and you don't know how loving your relationship is with your wife, and you don't know how fulfilling it is to you. And if at some point you think that the two of you have drifted apart and there's not, you're more of roommates than you are boyfriend and girlfriend, and you have every right to want to be boyfriend and girlfriend with your wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that case, you can make the mature decision to
Yes.
move on.
Yes.
These things happen.
Happier. Yes, you'll be happier. Your kids will thank you for it.
Right. I would ask the question too, have you decided to try counseling? That's always a question to ask. If people have religion in their lives, have you talked to your rabbi or your pastor or your priest? Is this something you work out together spiritually? I mean, you ask these questions, but what you don't do is yell at your brother and say, I want you to stay married because it's important to me.
Yeah. I think at one point Rob like mentions their 11-year-old kid. He's like, yeah, well, it's harder with the 11-year-old kid. This is going on. And Steven just completely doesn't, like, okay, next thing.
Yep, zooms right over that. It's very, very strange. And Steven is clearly taking it hard. They try to talk it out, but all you can get from Steven is this overwhelming feeling of disappointment. He's so disappointed.
Yeah.
And then Rob mentions he's going.
Alex is disappointed. Yeah. But Steven definitely, yeah.
It's like an intervention. Elise tells how disappointed they are. Alex is disappointed. It's like, oh my God, all of you suck up your marriage.
If I was Rob, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to get a hotel room. I don't want to stay here.
Family, thanks for your support.
Thanks. Yeah.
So he meets this girl on a plane whose name, frankly, I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't remember it. He meets
I don't either.
Plane. They had a great time together, and he asked her to go out to dinner that night. And now that's the complication that they decided to add to the plot. Was, okay, he's leaving his wife, and he's dating somebody already.
Right. But for Rob's, from Rob's end, I totally get, like, it's been years of unhappiness. This isn't just a recent thing for him. And finally he meets someone and, that wants to just get together, have dinner, hang out, go to the disco. All right, good for him, man. And so
we opened the last scene with Alex coming out with the culmination of the B plot, which is they were looking for peaches amongst the unlabeled cans. So what Alex did, the only thing anyone could reasonably do, is open every single can. Clearly he's not very lucky because the peaches was probably the last can he opened. Right. And dumped everything, and it looked like peas and carrots and fruit and all kinds of canned goods into a giant glass bowl, and walks out with the giant glass bowl.
Yeah, calling it everything but peaches. Funny.
So the date's coming over to go out to the disco with Bob.
Yes, and we see the family's kind of there to get the door and welcome her in, and Rob comes down in the most spectacular jacket ever. It's this bright blue members only cut, like, I forget the name of the material that, like, was big in the 80s.
My wife found a picture yesterday of the two of us. And I'm gonna guess maybe it's about over 20 years old, but I have to look right behind me.
Go get it. I think I might have something too, believe it or not.
The jacket picture is so reminiscent of Rob's disco jacket. I'm wondering if you can see that.
Oh, yes. That's yes.
Mm-hmm. From the 80s. At a wedding in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. I got one better for you, Corey. Hold on one second. Hold on.
You'll edit this out, Brian. My pretzel eating. Stop get a picture and dropping the headset. You'll just edit all that out. Don't worry about it.
This is a jacket I wore when I was little. It's a Georgia Tech jacket, but the material is very much like what Rob was wearing. Like, it's just gold and flashy.
I have a Mets jacket from the 80s.
Yeah.
That's exactly that material too.
Yep.
But boy,
Oh.
he is dressed to the nines to go to the disco with his new gal.
Oh yeah. And the kids are appalled
that he's going dancing.
So ridiculous. And so we go back. So yeah, he goes out. You know, the girl is really nice. They don't seem to make her the sharpest tool in the shed, but she's nervous. I get it. And then we cut to the next day. It's morning. The kids are getting breakfast. And Rob comes down, offering to make them breakfast. And he's onto the fact that they're upset by the divorce and wants to talk to them about it.
And it's clear that they just can't accept Rob's decision.
No. They again, I'm disappointed. I'm upset. Like a kid.
Starts one line. I think you should. You know what? Don't ever say that to anybody. Unless somebody says, "What do you think I should do?"
Yeah.
Then you can tell them what you think. But until they say that, I never volunteer what I think somebody should do.
Exactly. Don't give advice unless you're not asked for.
Exactly.
Right.
In this case, it's very clear that they are butting heads, and they're not. The Keatons are not accepting of this decision, even though Rob says the line, "I wasn't happy."
Yes.
Shouldn't someone's happiness be the most important thing involved in marriage? I mean, yes. I understand that there are a lot of people who think you're supposed to stay together for the children no matter what. But if you're butting heads with each other, better off not staying together for the children, because children don't need any kind of domestic violence, domestic anger.
No. And that's the thing. It's like, and this is why this actor is so good, is like, it's clear that the divorce is weighing on him. He's not being reckless or frivolous. It upsets him. But man, he's like, but I'm happy. And they can't get their minds around that.
The guy feels like he's living for the first time in 25 years, and they keep on shooting him down. and he says at one point something like about his brother's life. What a great life you have. I want to have a life too, he says.
Yes. He says,
I think he spelled it out very nicely. In spite of the fact that Norman Parker seemed to be in a completely different show than the rest of the people were in. They wrote him differently. He performed it differently. It's like he was in an hour soap opera.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was something there were moments I liked it, but I was like, this is kind of the dynamic was weird.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he pulled it off. Yeah. So he comes.
We end this episode with someone knocking at the door, and I think they think it's the girlfriend.
Oh, wait, we got a little twisted because during that breakfast scene, that's when they decide to have the girl over for dinner.
Oh, that's what it is.
And that's when we have the
setting up.
Yeah, with the fruit and everything. But this is where it gets ridiculous, is the fight that automatically starts right as she comes in about Rob dancing.
It comes out of nowhere, and it goes nowhere, and it's never going to go anywhere. And it's like they said, we need to have some sort of a conflict happening when the door opens at the end of the episode. So they created conflict out of nothing.
Yes, it's ridiculous. Oh, and Steven's like so dead serious. Like, you don't like dancing.
And then there's a knock on the door, and the door opens, and apparently they expect for all of us to remember from 5 years ago from her first performance, and they say just the simple word, look, it's Maureen.
It's Maureen. And yeah, and so...
And the look on her face, by the way, the first time I looked at her face, I did think to myself, good for you for leaving her, Rob. She doesn't look happy right now.
No, she looks really smug and sour. And yeah.
Yeah. And I just like, oh, okay. Even more so. Even I'm now on Rob's side, Bob's side, even more.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I want Rob to get away from the Keatons. I want him to go off, have a good time. Yeah. Let's do a whole show with just Rob living his life.
Oh, that was very nice. Paul saw the picture and he said, "You both look exactly the same." That's very sweet, Paul. We aged a lot.
And
And Paul also said that how is it possible that Rob's date didn't also come downstairs? That would have been awesome. If she had spent the night, it would have been great.
That'd been great. I would have loved that. That made it even better.
That was only about 20 years too early for that to happen. But I thought it would be great if Maureen came in and that wasn't the last moment, but then the date comes downstairs and that was the last moment.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would have loved that. But see, even Rob's being respectful. He's not bringing the girl home.
No.
Like he's yeah. Oh, Keatons. Well, get ready, gang, because next week we'll be delving into this more, and we'll find out Irene's side of the story with Oh Brother, Part 2.
And hopefully Paul will be with us next week.
Hopefully Paul will be with us. Paul, get your computer fixed. Well, for questions and comments, be sure to write us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at QTWFT. Each of us is also on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Corpep, and Paul is at Paul Packler.
Paul Packler. And be sure to like our Facebook page. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is an online conglomerate of geek media, providing its readers with daily insights and reviews to the geek pop culture spectrum, as well as supporting creative artists. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's music at perryadams.com. We like to thank Brian Dillon, the co-president of Fanbase Press, for all his hard work in editing our show. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer, for designing our logo. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. We miss you, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.